Welcome back, baseball fans. 1974-77 Carryover League. Off-season look at the 1974 card set. This is our third shot at this, and we're going to go into the National League for the first time. National League East, National League North. We're going to take a look and see what four keepers might be in the works for the teams. So we'll begin with the Atlanta Braves, and these are going to be all the big bats. It's going to be Aaron, Baker, Evans, and Johnson. So here's Hank in 74, and this will be a progression until the end of his career. So they'll take this card. The big news is you see the defense is really bad now, suddenly. It was okay in 73, but not anymore for Atlanta. But look at the numbers. 20 homers and a 268 average. And they're going to run this out, of course. Might have Hank play the rest of his career in Atlanta instead of going back to the Milwaukee to play for the Brewers, and may not even use him in the next couple of years when he gets more diminished. But he's okay to bring back with this card next year. Dusty Baker, he's now a 3 in center, but he's still got the great corner defense. Then you have Darrell Evans. Darrell Evans, a third baseman. Bring him back. The 240, but because you can only add two guys in 74, I'd more like to go with Baker and Aaron and take Darrell Evans in one of the future years, and then Davey Johnson. So all the guys with the 40 homers in 73 aren't coming close to that. Good news is there's a 1977 Davey Johnson card that the Braves can get a hold of, and that will be a big boost for this team. Just have Davey Johnson finish his career with Atlanta instead of going to the Phillies. Again, these are like minor script changes of the story of the 1970s. We're not doing anything radical. We're not like trading Johnny Bench to the Toronto Blue Jays or something ridiculous like that. But, guys who are just on the edge of baseball often like leave teams or so forth. It's just not that big a deal. So if Davey Johnson doesn't go to Philadelphia in 77, so be it. Next, we have the Florida Marlins. Fred Kendall is just an okay catcher here. I'm not sure exactly what card they're going to take for him. They might find a better catching option to back up Ellie Rodriguez. Louis Melendez, a 3 in center still. Gets on base a little bit, but this isn't a very good card either. Now you got Felix Millan. This is a good card. They were putting him on the market, seeing if the New York Mets or the Atlanta Braves would bite. They did not, so they'll hold on to Felix. A 268 hitter. The Mets were happy enough with Terry Harmon this past year. Got him into the divisional round. Next up is Manny Mota. Mota will take the 77 card, not this one, even though that would be a reasonable pinch hitting card. They're going to go with the 77 Mota. Not a lot of news there out of Florida, is it? Next up, it is the New York Mets. So Bud Harrelson is now going to be a 2. Well, it's still fine. Gets on a lot versus righties, and we like the walks against lefties as well. It makes the best of a low average. 227, but the walks make it a reasonable player, and he's a base stealer. It's a shame he's not a 1 anymore, and that might dampen the Met defense overall. He and Boa and Belanger, all the 1 shortstops were responsible for backing up those great pitching staffs. John Milner, he's got a couple good cards in this timeline. This is one of them with 20 home runs. Average is a little bit low. Does draw a lot of walks. Like this, Kuzman really gets the lefties out as a starter. 8, that's a nice card for Jerry Kuzman with a 3.36 ERA. And Seaver, starter 7, with a 3.20 ERA in 236 innings. We're going to have to just carefully measure which Seaver we want in the 4-year timeline. We're going to go with the best one. I'm not sure that is the best one. But those are the 4 keepers of the Mets. And lastly, it's going to be the Phillies. And the Phillies right here Bob Boone, he's still got a +1 arm. I'm not sure I want that. And the bat's not that great either. I got to get Boone with a better throwing arm. That's what he's known for. Just 242. They want Gary Thompson play first base. As a 3, he can do it here. He's a base stealer, which is just a nice little bonus. Yeah, this is sort of what you get throughout the timeline. It's just okay. It's not the best position they have on the roster. They had a lot of their first basemen taken away from them, like Willie Montanez, like Tom Hutton, like Darren Johnson. So they had to settle here, but he's okay. Again, a lefty bat could work in a platoon. And lastly, Twitchell has a nice year in 76 as a reliever, so you don't want this card. All right. After that, we're going to take a quick pause and go to the National League North. All right, next up, it's going to be the National League North. Big players in this division. Reds, Pirates amongst the Cubs and Cards. All right, so Billy Williams will have a progression, but he actually completes through the timeline with Oakland in 76, just as a DH. Probably want to finish his career with the Cubs. He might make it to 76. This is clearly fine to be a left fielder. Certainly better than needing to be a DH. 280 hitting platoon. Make him a platoon player, but he's fine against lefties. Make him an everyday player. He's got a first base option now. Bill Bonham gets to stick around the team, as one of the years he's a decent starter. This one's okay. 385 ERA in 243 innings. Probably better suited to be a 3 or 4. Ray Burris will also pitch on 3 days rest in the timeline, so you don't want this card. Russell's got a nice year in 77. This one you probably don't want. So from that, I would go Billy Williams, Bill Bonham. I'm going to say John Bonham. He's busy playing the drums. He wouldn't want to play for the Cubs. All right, next up will be the Big Red Machine. Oh boy, this is always fun. 75 and 6 will be the best fun years to look at. We might be able to find out what went wrong in 74 when the Dodgers won the West. Maybe the clues are here. So Concepcion is now going to be a 1 with a great bat and a double-A stealer. You want this. So he's not responsible for them not succeeding in 74. I'll take this card. Give me this double-A stealing Concepcion. Could you bat him to the top of the lineup against righties, I guess. Lefties, he's not. Well, I kind of like that, actually, the fact that he's hitting righties better than lefties. Perez at first base, my goodness. Here's a case. Look at how he destroys lefties. That's wonderful. But it really indicates how ordinary he is against righties, because when you look at the overall numbers, he's a 265 hitter with 28 homers. Sure. Yeah, take him over there, but how many opportunities are you going to get over there, and how many times would they walk him or, pitch around him? So I'm not even sure they're going to use this Perez card. They might take a future year. Rather disappointing year for Pete Rose. Now you're starting to see the cracks in the Reds in this particular season. 284, and out of a left fielder, that's simple, without power, that's not going to be good enough, so obviously seems to make sense. Put him at third base, get Griffey and Foster in the outfield. Now you can kind of see why that may have happened. Still drew 106 walks. I mean, most teams in baseball would love him to play left field every day with a 284 card, but these are the Reds. They have a higher expectation. Jack Billingham should have one good year in these 4. We know he gets a couple World Series appearances. 19-game winner, 200 innings. ERA is a little bit on the high side. Starter 7. Deep bullpen for the Reds. He doesn't need to pitch deep in the games. No homers over here. Keeps the ball in the ballpark. 1-8 over there. 1-7 here. Here's the thing. It's just not the matchup you want against Catfish Hunter or Jim Palmer, if it's the World Series, or Tom Seaver or Don Sutton. It's just okay, and you got to hope the Reds' offense carries you to victory. Yeah. Oh well. And again, it's not like we can jump out of the course of, in real life, Major League history and get Don Sutton on the Reds. Obviously, we can get Tom Seaver on the Reds, but that won't happen until 77. The Mets are going to hold on to him for as long as they possibly can. Don't know why they made the trade to begin with, but who knows. All right, the Pirates are going to go to Stargell. This could be 25 homers and 301. He's a little down on the power in this particular year, but has it, of course. He's a 3 in left field, which is really nice after being a 4 the last few years. That's kind of cool to have. Don't have to worry about bringing in defense for him. And, you know, the thing is, I think he's in a kind of a holding pattern, and he doesn't have a nice, great year until he gets MVP in 79. They traded for Jim Bibby because he starts to eat innings. Not here, though. We don't want this. He eats innings here, but he eats a lot of walks and hits. And yeah, it's not a good card at all. But he's got some better cards coming up. Of the Cleveland variety, of course, he's not going to make a trip to Cleveland. He's going to go from Texas, bypass Cleveland, and go to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's closer has been the steady Dave Justy for many years now. What's really nice is I like a righty who gets lefties out and doesn't give up the long ball at all. Has some walks against righties. Has a 1-3 line out there. I like that. That's a nice little card for a 3.31 ERA. I wouldn't mind him being a closer. And they brought Ramon back. Ramon had his struggles in Pittsburgh, went to Cleveland, then they brought him back in a trade. Has a 2.74 ERA. This would be the best pitching template for the 74 Pirates. So I think you got to decide if you want Stargell in this year or a different year, because Justy and Hernandez would both be good options in the bullpen. Getting a solid back end again. And lastly tonight, the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals here. They made a trade to get Frank Robinson. They've had this opportunity for a right-handed DH last couple years. They got Tommy Harper from Boston a year ago. They got Frank Robinson this time. And this is an okay Frank Robinson card, 74. He's got 74, 75, and 76. They're not going to be like he once was, but he's good enough to be a DH. And again, he's a Hall of Famer. So, you know, he comes to the Cardinals, gets to play with Bob Gibson for 1 year. That'll be pretty cool. Bob Gibson's final year could be Frank Robinson's final year. Again, we don't mind. See the team? None. We don't mind Frank Robinson bouncing around the league because that's what he did. After Baltimore, he was with California. He was with the Dodgers. He was with the Angels and the Cleveland Indians and their manager. So he has traveled. We have made him travel. Reggie Smith, this is the first year in St. Louis is just like the last year in Boston. So they'll at least go with this card. John Curtis, starter 7. Now he doesn't pitch on 3 days rest anymore, but sometimes less is better. Less innings means more effectiveness. 3.78 ERA. Decent card. And this will be the last Bob Gibson card. 75 card, we're probably not going to use that. It's not very good. He can pitch on 3 days rest, and that's good news for the Cardinal fans. They get to see their guy more often. His ERA goes up to 3.83, which would probably be the highest in maybe his whole career, maybe? I don't know. Maybe you got to go back pre-67 to possibly find an ERA that high, and you might not. But every year after 67, it's much lower than that. Starter 7. Real good against righties. Line out there. The home run is a shame. He's like approaching 40 years old, folks. And the Cardinals, frankly, are not forecasted to win the division anyway. So, I mean, at least they could have some fun. They got the 500 this past year. They might regress, or they just might stay in mediocrity a little bit until the big red machine cool off, if they ever do. Pirates. You know, the Reds and Pirates will rule this division for the decade. Cardinals and Cubs pretty much have to wait to the 1980s, which is a shame. Sad to say that, but that's the way it goes. That's it for looking at the 1974 box. We've gone through 3/4 of it. Next week, Mountain Time Zone and the West. We'll see you then.